There are 20 levels for each hero in BTD6, and their descriptions don't tell you everything. So I'm going to cover any missing or misleading info about each hero's level ups to help you get the most out of them. We'll start with the Zilli, specifically her level 3 description. This is where she gains the Heartstopper ability, but it lasts a bit longer than it seems. You see, this ability is active for 10 seconds, and its effect lingers on Bloons for 10 more seconds after the ability is over. At level 8, she gets a sneaky boost to her normal damage over time, as that gets increased from 1 to 2 damage per tick. Her level 10 description explains mob hex well, but some additional info is that it deals % health damage, meaning it scales as mobs get stronger, and if there are more mob class Bloons on screen after the mob hex kills a blimp, it'll jump to another one and start doing damage to it. At level 11, she gives plus 50% pierce to reanimated Bloons and mobs, but this does not affect the Prince of Darkness's reanimated BFBs. At level 14, we're told that her damage over time acts faster, which is true, but it also doesn't last as long, going from 5.5 seconds down to 4.05. Now this still does one more instance of damage than the previous level, and her level 15 increases this up to 6.05 seconds, but it's good to know. At level 19, she gets a sneaky +1 tick damage to mob class Bloons, and her level 20 reduces the mob hex cooldown from 60 seconds to 40, while also providing the benefits listed in the description. Next up is Busty, and his level 1 attack does something that I didn't know. He smacks one balloon for 3 damage and makes a small splash around it that deals 2 damage to surrounding balloons. At level 5, Pat learns how to slap Bloons back towards the entrance. This slap replaces his normal slam every 5th attack, and it sends affected Bloons backwards at triple speed for 1 second. At level 6, every attack stuns normal Bloons, and this actually results in less knockback for slaps as they spend some of the backwards time being stunned. Additionally, his splash radius gets a little bigger. The level 7 description actually means increased damage and pierce, and this is a common occurrence in the hero descriptions as they use popping power and pierce interchangeably. At level 10, Pat learns big squeeze, but it does more than just crushing blimps to bits. It also stuns the children Bloons for 2 seconds after the outer layer is popped, and Pat can't attack during the squeeze period. The level 18 description just means that Pat's splash gets a pierce increase from 20 to 30, and his level 20 makes his big squeeze affect up to 4 blimps at once. On to Quincy, whose early levels are spot on, but his level 8 misses something. Not only do his arrows deal triple damage to mobs, but the explosions from these arrows also do +2 damage to them. His level 12 and 19 upgrades only increase the pierce of his arrows, which does increase his popping power, but I just want to be more precise. At level 10, he learns the Storm of Arrows ability, but it works way different than I thought it did. This ability makes it rain down arrows in a circle for 3 seconds. Each Bloon in this circle has a 5% chance per frame to take damage and can be re-hit after 0.05 seconds, meaning a Bloon could get hit 0 times or more than 20 times. Additionally, these arrows only deal double damage to mobs, while his main attacks deal triple. And for levels 18 and 20, where it says that he fires more arrows, this equates to increasing the chance that Bloons get hit to 7.5 and 10% respectively. Next up is Benjamin, who is pretty straightforward, but I want to clarify his level 5 bank hack buff. The description is correct in that banks earn +5% income, but this means that during the round they make more money. It does not affect the interest at the end of the round. A lot of people mix that up, including myself back in the day. Then at level 7, his Bloon Trojan can never target yellow Bloons or weaker, and at level 18, this Trojan gains camo detection as it can now hit DDTs, but it does not get extended to advanced intel submarines, meaning Ben himself still can't see camos. On to Gwendolyn, who has a surprising amount of secrets. To start, her popping power is mentioned at levels 2, 5, and 13, but these are all just pierce upgrades. On to the fun stuff, at level 4, she gains the passive heated up ability. This triggers every 40 shots, and it pops Bloons as well as giving nearby monkeys +1 pierce and allows them to pop frozen and lead balloons. At level 7, the cocktail buff just means that it does damage twice as often. Her level 11 attack range buff also applies to her heated up range, and level 12 is where things get interesting. Here, Gwen gets +25% attack speed, but heated up takes 48 shots to trigger instead of 40, so it takes 19.2 seconds to go off instead of 20 if she's attacking constantly. Then at level 15, she gets +33% attack speed, but heated up now takes 64 shots to trigger, keeping it at 19.2 seconds. And at level 18, Gwen attacks twice as fast, and it only takes 70 shots to trigger heated up, meaning she can pop it every 10.5 seconds. This is super nice as you can have a near permanent heated up buff if Gwen is buffed by jungle drums, stronger stim, and is level 18 or higher. Striker Jones is up, and his level 3 ability does 2 damage to affected Bloons on top of just stunning them. His level 6 description is oddly worded, but it just means that his pierce increases from 10 to 20, and his blast radius is increased by 50%. This next one is a bit ticky-tacky, but his level 9 upgrade makes the concussive shell affect blimps differently than normal balloons. It used to stun both for 1 second, but now normal balloons are stunned for 5 seconds and blimps are stunned for 3. On to Hbomb. At level 4, he gets a totem that slows the balloons and blimps that are near it, but you should know that the totem is always 50% less effective versus mob. Now, to their credit, this is covered at level 4, but it's the case all the time. So at level 8, blimps are slowed by 20%, and at 15, they're slowed by 30%. At level 6 and 13, popping power just means pierce, and at level 10 and up, Hbomb's wall of trees provide plus 100% income on the balloons that they trap once the forest bursts into bananas. Unfortunately, this extra money does not get awarded in chimps, you just get the normal amount of money that you get from popping them. Geraldo is next, and his descriptions are very good, to the point where pierce and damage are explicitly stated instead of just saying popping power. But I just want to make sure that you know that at level 10, you can purchase 4 of these cute and cuddly rabbits to make a balloon popping machine, and at level 17, Geraldo's Amazo glue does affect mob class balloons, however they do consume more pierce. Mobs take 10 glue pierce, BFBs and DDTs consume 20, and ZOMGs use 50. Churchill is up, and this one is quick. His level 2 and 11 descriptions just mean increasing his explosions pierce from 12 to 15 and 15 to 20 respectively. And his level 3 ability allows each shell to explode 2 more times on top of what it says in the description. Additionally, the way this duration works is that it lasts 7.5 seconds plus half a second for each of his levels. So if he's level 12, armor piercing shells would last 13.5 seconds. Next up is Adora. Starting with her level 3, the part where it says increased power just means that her pierce is doubled for the duration of the ability. At level 7, she gains the blood sacrifice ability that gives her extra range and attack speed, but what's left out is that these buffs also get applied to nearby sun avatars, temples, and gods. At level 16, Long Arm of Light gets a huge upgrade as it lasts 5 seconds longer and doubles the damage of Adora's divine bolts for the duration. And at level 20, Adora can receive a secret boost if a true sun god is built next to her. If done properly, Adora will get plus 8 damage, plus 30 pierce, and Ball of Light gains 80 damage and 35 pierce. On to Brickle. At level 1, she starts off with 2 attacks. She shoots her pistol and lays down mines. And at level 2, this attack speed buff gets applied to both attacks, making her shoot faster and lay down mines more often. At level 4, the pierce of these sea mines gets increased from 20 to 28. At level 5, the increased popping power that Naval Tactics provides is just increasing the pierce of affected monkeys by 1. And finally, at level 10, Brickle learns how to place mega mines, but they don't last forever. On top of the round limit, they also have a 180-second lifespan, so you can't just permastall around and place down a billion mines. Etan is up, and we'll start with his level 3 as it has a hidden duration bonus. You see, the extra drones last 17 seconds plus half a second for each level, meaning at level 11, Drone Swarm would last 22.5 seconds. At levels 4, 12, and 16, popping power just means pierce, increasing them from 2 to 3, 3 to 6, and 6 to 9 pierce respectively. At level 7, Etan gains the first and divide and conquer targeting options, and at level 11, he gains the zone defense option, as these are unlocked when he gets the extra drones. Finally, at level 20, Etan's UCAV becomes permanent, but what isn't mentioned is that this permanent one is much weaker than the previous levels, as it reduces his damage from 7 to 2 and its pierce from 30 to 25. Luckily, when you activate the ability, its damage shoots up to 10, pierce to 30, and it can pop any type of balloon for the duration. Next is Sada, who's pretty simple. At level 6 and 15, popping power just means pierce, raising it from 5 to 7 and 7 to 9. At level 11, Sada does extra damage to balloons that are slowed, immobilized, or taking damage over time, but you should know that this stacks with her level 7 bonus of doing extra damage to stunned balloons. Additionally, both of these damage bonuses get applied to her abilities, making them do way more damage in certain scenarios, and at level 17, Sada gets a secret buff of dealing even more bonus damage to those stunned and harmed balloons. Last, but certainly not least, we have Sai, and at level 4 there's something interesting. This level up makes Sai's attack able to affect an extra balloon, meaning their pierce can be buffed by an alchemist and have them destroy even more balloons at once. At level 9, Sai gains a second psychic attack, but you cannot choose what balloons it targets. Instead, it's hard-coded to attack on first if balloons are over 50% of the way through the track, otherwise it'll be set to strong. This goes for Sai's level 17 as well, as they get a third attack then. At level 10, Sai unlocks Ionic Scream. This can affect up to 2,000 balloons, and when activated, each affected balloon has a 50-50 chance of either getting blown backwards or getting insta-killed. Additionally, this scream only affects balloons that Sai can target with their main attack. At level 11, Sai gets a sneaky pierce buff, increasing the contagious blast from 2 to 3, and at level 14, Sai will destroy balloons even faster on top of being able to pop mobs. But that was all the missing or confusing info in the descriptions of each hero. If you want to see each hero's weaknesses, check out this video right here.